Hi guys, welcome to Best Life Now. This is Super Dave, and I'm here with the beautiful Jen. Hi, Jen.
Hi, everybody.
Um, Lots happening on this beautiful day. Today it is January 7th, 2021, and Jen, I really love what we're talking about today, and it ties in with the beautiful quote. I'll read it here in a second. The Abraham quote that was for today's daily quote.
Mhm.
But yeah, lots of people, lots of different opinions, lots of different ideas, and it's about understanding that stop caring about what other people think. Really,
Right.
really put the focus on the emphasis on what you think and how you feel about these things. And also the understanding too that when even when we're saying to stop, we're also not saying assert what you think or what you feel, but to really feel and flow forward with what you feel. And this quote so beautifully, I think, demonstrates that, Jen. But yeah, I'll just pause there for a sec.
Yeah. And, I deliberately, when I created, chose the title, entered it in, I knew it would be a bit of an attention grabber, right? Stop, right? Those are strong words. But you'll hear throughout this expansion, around the quote and things, how it really is, allowing others to think what they think and allowing yourself to really come in tune with and in touch with and feeling confident about what feels better to you, about what you think, and really following your own guidance. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm really, really looking forward to expanding all of this out. So
Me
great.
too, Jen.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll just go ahead and start this up then,
Okay.
and
Great.
this will be great. We'll kind of take this, guys. This should be the entirety of today's Facebook Live. We're going to just kind of take this sentence by sentence and just really expand this out, um, with the intention, of course, that you feel more of who you are as you're flowing forward. You feel more of the essence of your own beautiful source and your own understanding that you're beings of love and light, guys. Really, really. It may not look like that. It may not feel like that right now, but you really are beings of love and light. You are extensions of that source energy. So I'm going to go ahead just with this first sentence here, Jen, and we'll just flow forward. So this is from um, a workshop in Asheville, North Carolina, on the 25th of October of 2003, guys. So it says your joy factor will remain constant as you are continually refining your ideas of what you want. I'll just pause there for a second. That's huge, Jen, right? I mean, just understanding that you're continually sifting and sorting, right? It's like going to the buffet and going, yeah, that's a preference, and uh, I, I like that, and really just being able to sift and sort, to refine, pick and choose.
Right, right. And, and this is something, be gentle with yourself. There's a lot of people, right, that have spent a lot of their life experience caring for others. Maybe you're a mom and you're so involved with your kids, or maybe you've cared for, really taking care of your significant other or family members, or maybe your profession that you're involved with. Maybe you're a nurse or somebody that's kind of predisposed um, to really be doing a lot of quote unquote caregiving, right? Where
Yeah,
you're really kind of into, well, what do you think? How are you feeling? Kinds of things, sort of like that. And but to recognize, in order for any of us, myself, Dave, you, any of you listening, any person, to really be able to be of the greatest benefit to that other person, the most important thing, the only thing that really matters, is that you, right, are feeling in a good space, that you're feeling and flowing with your own alignment. And
yeah,
it's knowing when you are feeling and flowing with your own alignment, you'll be guided to things that are beneficial. And even
yeah,
though you may ask them, well, how are you doing today? A question like that, or how are you feeling, right? It may be part of your job, or it might just really, be relevant to the situation at hand. You won't be dipping down if they're feeling a negative vibration. You'll be calling them upward. And we as humans, we all came to do this. We all, it feels so good to be able to deliberately call somebody up to a better feeling space, to invite them to come up the vibrational scale, to invite them to feel better.
Yeah.
Uh, but it's not an action thing, it's a vibrational thing.
Yep.
It's not the words you use or the actions you do, because one action taken when you're on a lower space on the scale could be detrimental to somebody. But if you take that same exact action and you are feeling and flowing in your alignment, oh, it could be such a divine experience for you and for the other person. Really,
Yeah. Yeah, it's all vibrational, right, Jen?
it really is.
And I know we talked a lot about that too. And I think the other thing, that this quote so beautifully demonstrates is the awareness that no matter what group you're talking about or anything like that, there's only two groups in those groups, which is those that are feeling and flowing with their alignment and those that aren't. Those that are, uh, we'll say, pinching that alignment off. And I think that's really powerful because that ties into another thing, which is that there's no source of misalignment. There's only a source of alignment or an absence of that alignment. And so, even with things that you're saying, to be like, oh, they're all like that, or everybody's like that, or see, told you,
Mhm.
that's not helping your cause either, guys. That's still you trying to focus on what they're thinking about. And it makes me want to read the rest of that first sentence, Jen, because I did break it up on purpose.
Yeah.
But I'm just going to read the first sentence again all the way through without any breaks. But it says, your joy factor will remain constant as you are continually refining your ideas of what you want. And that's why it's so important for you to get everybody else out of the equation.
Right.
We're just talking about that, guys.
Yeah. Yeah. Your alignment is your alignment. And guess what? You are the only one that can feel your feelings from your perspective. Now, somebody else can say, I think I know how you feel, or, those kinds of things, but they're not actually feeling your feelings. They're feeling their own feelings, right? So rest assured, your feelings are for you and you alone.
Yep.
Your energy is for you and for you alone to focus in the way that feels better or not, right? And that's really what there is. You can either focus in the way that feels better, go with your flow, right? Follow that which you're being called to, or you resist it, right? And the things that make us resist oftentimes are getting in somebody else's business, or beliefs that you should get in somebody else's business, or what they think is more important than what I think, right? Or what they feel is more important than what I feel. But it really is, bringing yourself into a space of being comfortable feeling what you feel, and using the emotional guidance scale as a tool to feel for those better emotions.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so I just agree with everything you said, Jen. I'm going to continue flowing forward. It says they've got their own game going on. They don't understand your game. And I'll expand on this too. They don't need to understand your game. And you don't need to understand their game. Focus on your game, which in essence is another way of saying, like we say a lot, guys, tend to your own vibrational garden, mind your own business. And some people would say, well, that seems kind of harsh. Okay, but here's something to consider. If you know that you're the one that controls your destiny, if you know that by whatever you put your attention and focus on, the laws of the universe dictate that you get what you put your attention and focus on, then you start to go, okay, it is good that I am being selfish and focusing on my own vibrational garden. It is good that I'm focusing on what I want.
Mhm. Right, right, right. And if that word's selfish, right? If that's like, ooh, that's not a nice word. Well, consider shifting your beliefs on it. Consider opening that up for yourself. That just means you're focused on your own path,
Yeah.
right? And sometimes, when you hear the word selfish, you think it means disregarding others or doing harm to others, or you know, taking the last piece of cake. Oh, you selfishly took the last piece of cake and now I can't have any, right? You could have cut it in half, or you could have, right? Somebody will think, like, don't you selfishly do what you want to do what I want you to do, right? Which is give me half that piece of cake or the whole piece of cake. And, it's, really allowing yourself to be more comfortable flowing with your flow and, not being worried. I wonder what they're going to think. Are they going to think I'm selfish if I eat this cake? Maybe I should leave it. I don't know if this has ever happened, and it used to happen previously, like a while ago. It would be like the last treat of some sort. Could be a piece of cake or a cookie or something. And nobody would take it because they didn't want to be the last
Right.
one, right? Or that
Right.
last whatever, right? And then it would end up just getting tossed out because nobody wanted to take it.
That's a
So,
good point, Jen. Yep.
so
You see it at buffets all the time too. You know, well, that's the last egg Florentine, but I think I'll wait till I get a new pan. I mean, it's funny when you think about it. It's like
yeah.
it's there for you.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And so, be okay flowing with your flow and know that opportunities are opening up for that other person. And if you take the last piece of cake, somebody may be inspired to make another treat, another
Hmm.
cake, or some cookies, or some bars of some sort, something
Right, Jen.
delightful. Ooh, good. I was waiting to make a banana bread, right?
Ooh,
And
it ties into another thing we talk about all the time too, Jen, which is that you going after your desires does not take away from somebody else's.
right,
It
right.
does not, guys. That there's not a pie that we're waiting all to be divvied up. There, we live in a universe where there's a plethora of pies. If you don't like pies, there's cakes, and if you don't like cakes, there's cookies. And I'm
Right.
just using sweets as a silly example, but you focusing on your desires does not take away from somebody else's desire.
Right. Now,
Everyone has their own vortex.
right. Now you may say, but I've had that experience where I ate the last cookie and then somebody was like, but I'd be willing to bet when you ate that last cookie, you were kind of worried that somebody else might want it.
Might ask,
You
right?
weren't truly at the top of your scale enjoying the cookie and feeling what comes next, right? And even when you use the words going after what you want, it's really not that. It's flowing with what you want,
That's very
flowing
true.
with the calling, and there's no assertion in it.
Right.
So because here's the thing, if you ate the last cookie, probably be inspired to make another treat or do something else, or somebody else would, oh, the neighbor, hey, I made an extra pie just for you, right? And things are like that. The law of attraction is like that, and it will always give you evidence of what you're vibrating. So,
Yeah.
you know uh, and it's really, a powerful thing. Don't hold yourself back, right? If you want that last treat, well, allow yourself to flow with it, and then allow yourself to flow with what's next, right? Because there'll
Right.
be a next. It's not like the cookie is gone and that's the end, and there's no more cookies, like you said. There's more cookies, there's more treats, there's more wonderful things. And it's kind of funny because then I saw, as vibrationally as flowed forward, kind of like that example where nobody ate the last cookie or whatever it was. All of a sudden somebody, it was like all the cookies were gone. It was like, oh good, because now I want to make this.
Right.
And it was just like that. It
Yep.
was like, oh my gosh, this is the best cheesecake. Oh, or whatever the next treat that comes in. So
Hmm.
be okay with flowing with the more. Be
Yeah.
okay with flowing with your desires.
Right, Jen.
It's not taking anything away, it's
Right.
opening things up. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, and like you said too, it's just allowing everything to be, right? And I've noticed for myself, there's been fun times when I've gone to get food, and the food that I wanted, they didn't have. All out. Sorry, and that was them saying that, and it was perfect because it allowed me to try something I've never tried before. Some things I did enjoy, some things I didn't. But had that beautiful opportunity not been presented to me, I would have never, continued to refine my desires, just like Abraham's talking about in this quote.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Right. Because nothing is coming against us, nothing and no one. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it ties in beautifully to this next sentence, guys, which is give them a break. Stop asking them what they think, which is what today's title is.
Yeah.
Stop asking them what they think.
Yeah.
Stop it. And we do use the word stop it very directly, because when you really allow yourself to move in the direction of wanted, and in essence, stop looking at what you don't want, and you're now allowing yourself to move in the direction of what you do want, the amount of relief that you will feel of this is indescribable, you guys. It's like, oh, I think I shared with you, Jen, last year at some point I was like, you mean it doesn't matter what my parents think? And it doesn't matter what my girlfriend thinks? It really doesn't matter what my customers think about me? Or, huh. And I think I shared something similar in that vein with you, and how I had shared with you how I felt like a weight had come off my shoulder, and how I had felt so beautifully free. Like, I mean, the only thing that matters is how I feel? Are you sure, Jen? Are you sure? And, right, I was a little bit skeptical. Perfect. Found myself wherever that was on the scale, and then just found myself in land, and then plotted up. And then when I got to the top of the scale, I'm like, it really is only about how I feel. Yeah, I like that. Wow, that's really freeing to know. And as time flowed forward, did little things pop in where I was like, am I sure? Yeah, they did pop in. But again, I would just allow that too. And so it was like, not only was I now giving them a break, I was giving myself a break. It's a big one, guys. Allow yourself to not only give them a break, give yourself a break. I had shared with you too, Jen, that a customer had asked me, well, why is your life going so well? And I said, I think it was because a while back, I started finally just being kind to myself. So many people are out there being so hard, not only on each other, but especially on themselves. And if anything, this thing that happened last year called the pandemic, called the coronavirus, um, ideally showed us is that take care of yourself, give yourself a break. You are the number one priority.
Yeah. Right? Oh my gosh, I love how you shared that and you added it. You are the number one priority. And if that feels like, oh gosh, I don't know, that feels a little uncomfortable. Isn't that selfish? Am I like, allow yourself, right, to feel. If you have the emotional guidance scale, allow yourself to utilize that tool. Feel where that makes you, where you land on the scale with that, and then gently take those steps upward,
Yeah.
right, to a better feeling space.
Yeah.
And and I know that the title, like I'd mentioned at the very beginning of the broadcast, was strong, right? Is stop, right? Stop. And that was only, in for word's sake only. And I was listening to Abraham yesterday, and they said so clearly, you can't actually stop something without starting something. It's much easier to let go of caring what others think and begin or start focusing more on what you think or how you feel, right? So do it, gently replace it with what you do want. And I really encourage the gentleness. I've seen from my own experience personally, and just from others, when anybody tries to make a hard stop or a push against, it pushes back at them. So be gentle in that. Take that, that title, that statement, that piece, that stated there in word's sake only, but really feel the intention of those words that are flowing through. It's not saying, make a hard stop, reprimand, kind of thing. But it is making the clear statement to choose, right? To let go of and choose to focus more on your own, what feels better for you. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And so if you're stopping asking them what they think, what are you starting to do? And so it flows forward into this next sentence beautifully, guys, which we just, uttered here. But start paying attention to how you feel.
Yeah.
Yeah, guys, start paying attention to how you feel. If you've already been doing it, continue paying attention to how you feel. Jen, we were talking about how it's been so good to not go, yeah, I should start paying attention to how I feel. It's like, yeah, I'm going to continue to pay attention to how I'm feeling about all things in any given moment, and really understand that it's about paying attention to how you feel in the moment. It's not about how you're going to feel 6 months down the road, or when this thing happens, or when you manifest this thing, or when this relationship turns into this, or whatever. It's start paying attention about how you're feeling right here, right now, in this moment.
Mhm. And and recognizing as you're beginning, right, and you're paying more and more and more attention to how you feel, there is no like, okay, now I pay attention to how I feel and I'm done, right, I've reached it, because there'll always be more for you to pay attention about in your life
Yep.
experience and how you're feeling in as you become more aligned in this space, you'll find more specificity is coming into focus for you.
Yep.
So there's not an ending place with that. And I say that very deliberately because sometimes, especially around this time of year, people get kind of into, goals and things where I just want to get to the finish line. And I'm going to say there's no finish line with you focusing on your alignment. There's no finish line with you focusing how you feel. And there's no pinnacle. Like I focus the most on how I can feel. I've achieved that. So now I have a certificate of permanent alignment. It's not like that, right? And so be easy with yourself. Really celebrate and relish and appreciate your freedom to shift your focus, to shift your focus from things you don't prefer, but also to shift your focus to make it more broad. Right? If
Yep.
something has some tension, just generalize it out, or to bring it closer in, to make it more specific.
Hmm.
And to trust your guidance system, your own feelings, to let you know when you're focusing in a way that is right, really bringing you to the height of your alignment in that moment, right?
Yeah.
Because alignment is a moment by moment thing. Feeling good
Yeah.
is a moment by moment thing. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. And it's deliberate,
it's
and
deliberate.
it's, yeah. And, you can continue to get out ahead of it by just knowing how you're feeling in each new moment. And, I love how you said gentle too, because even this next sentence, this is true, but if you're now starting to pay attention to how you feel, you may not feel this. But the sentence is beautiful. And it says, joy will be yours immediately. And everything else that you have ever thought would make you happy will start flowing seemingly effortlessly into your experience. But that means you got to let go of the resistance, guys. When you really let go of the resistance, when you're at that top edge of boredom, being like, all this stuff that's happening in the world, that is not my business. I am handing that off to God. I am handing that off to my source. Heck, I'm handing it off to my inner being. And you really feel that, and you really mean that, now joy is immediately yours because you're moving into that space of contentment. And it's so easy to just allow that energy to flow.
Yeah,
Right, Jen?
so true. Yeah, and said so beautifully, right? It really is letting go. And so if you find yourself going, yeah, I'm letting it go, except I need to keep a track on this, or I'm pretty much letting it go. I'm mostly just recognize there's, right? It really is allowing yourself to gently let go of a little more. This is why the emotional guidance scale is such a beneficial tool, because it takes those gradient steps. From another thing that I've really recognized within myself and from others is they try to take too big of leaps, and they really end up asserting and pushing and attracting more of the unwanted. Um, so that gentle approach will serve you better.
Yeah.
Just feel when you first let go of something, right? Just handing it off. You should have a not only a physical feeling, but an emotional feeling of like, this feels better. This I'm comfortable here.
Yeah.
It's a feeling like you just set down a heavy weight and you should feel a desire. So that is, there is a very powerful indicator when you've really set something down.
Yep.
And be mindful of that.
Yeah.
Because sometimes they'll be like, yeah, 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 I set it down except for this. And they've still got quite a bit of stuff they're carrying with them. So it's okay. Set it all down. You don't have to set it down permanently. Be gentle. This is why we say be gentle. Just set it all down for that moment. And if you're not ready to set it all down, right? You were lower on the scale, and you've been in a pretty resistant place for a while, and you're not ready to set it all down permanently. But guess what? As you relax and allow it feels better, you might decide to pick a little bit of it back up, but you won't pick it all up. And you might land a little lower on the scale, but you won't end up as low as you were,
Right.
right? And then
Right.
you can deliberately go up the scale again and set it down again. Get that wonderful feeling of relief, and feel your way up the scale, right? And ultimately, over time, you won't want to pick it back up.
Right.
It'll be easy to go, that's not mine.
Right.
That's not for me. That's somebody else's business, right?
Exactly, Jen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And it ties in so beautifully too with the scale, which is that, people sometimes think, okay, well, my thing is to get to the top of the scale. No, consider this. The thing is just to feel the next higher vibration.
Yeah.
And if you're below boredom, guess what it is? It's the next space where there's a little less resistance. And if it's above boredom, it's the space where there's a little more flow. And you just take it that way, guys, that gradually. Even with everything that we talk about, there's no problem in getting to a certain spot on the scale and then being like, this is as high as I can go. If there's lots of momentum of resistance, that's okay too. But then for yourself, hey, I'll come revisit this at another time and find out where I land in that moment.
Right.
Jen. And that's what I think is so beautiful about it, because there's no one way to do this. You can't do this wrong. And this is just another beautiful way to understand that, like, every one of our vibrations, you guys, is valuable. It is our internal guidance and our GPS that's allowing us to feel more of who we are. And if we're not feeling more of who we are, it's not that we're feeling less of who we are, it's that we're pinching off the moreness of who we are.
Yeah, so so powerful. So, and I love how you said too, you don't always have to, like, if you've had strong negative emotion, something's really really occurred, or it's been long standing and there's a lot of negative emotion. It's just important to get to that place where you're able to set it down. And then as you're flowing, right? And this is common, see it a
Yep.
lot with people,
Yep.
as they are able to let it go and feel that relief, they might just feel like going to sleep, right? They might feel like
Very
taking
much.
a rest, a little
Very
nap.
much.
And that's
Yep.
such a good place to do that,
Yeah,
right?
totally.
You know, uh, and I would encourage you, if you have things that are weighing on you, to just deliberately, if you have the vibrational scale, you can use it, or you can soothe yourself. So minimally, you can get to a space where you're just setting it all down. You're just letting it go. Because there is something wonderful if you choose to set down some heavy resistance like that, and you decide to take a little nap. Doesn't have to be hours and hours. This can be a very short nap. It can be just 15 or 20 minutes, right? Or even less. It could be longer. It's totally up to you and what feels better to you. But as you have that little rest, when you come back, your vibration is where you last left it. And if you kind of left it in that contented, peaceful space, you're going to wake up in a contented, peaceful space, right? There you will be. And you'll be there. And then you get to decide, are you going to go looking for that resistance? Where's that resistance? It was there before I went it was there earlier. Is it still there? Does that spot on my side, does it still hurt? Let me see. Let me poke at it. Yep, still hurts. Right. Or whatever.
Right.
Or am I still mad at that person? Yep, still mad at them. Am I still worried about them? Right. So, be mindful when you wake up too. If you've gone to sleep, as a tool like that, to stay and bask in that better feeling space when you wake
Right.
up,
Right.
and to make that deliberate decision to stay in that better feeling space a little longer. And maybe if you went to sleep in that peaceful, contented space, you might be able to feel a little hopeful. Maybe today will be a little better than it has been before. I feel like this might be a little better day, right? It will be natural to go that way. Um, so it's a powerful tool, that you can use, and I used it from the perspective, if you have a long standing vibration, this can be something like an illness, a very difficult relationship, maybe some heavy financial uh, turmoil of some sort. uh, this will really assist you, and it will get you to tune into your own vibrational space,
Yep.
your own flow, instead of, God, I wonder what this person thinks, or I wonder what the doctor's going to say, or I wonder what my partner's going to say, or whatever. Because they don't have your alignment. Your credit card company doesn't have your alignment, your doctor doesn't have your alignment, and your soulmate in life, your partner, whoever it is, doesn't have your alignment either. It's for you. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it, Jen. I'm just going to go ahead and read these last two sentences again as we're kind of flowing forward to wrapping up here. It says, start paying attention to how you feel. Joy will be yours immediately, and everything else that you have ever thought would make you happy will start flowing seemingly effortlessly into your experience. Yeah, just feel the comfort of that, you guys, as you're feeling and flowing with everything, you know. There's no rush on any of this or anything that myself or Jen has said here today.
Yeah.
There's no demand. We don't need to save the world.
Mhm.
You can feel all the assertion in all of those. Just allow yourself to go, okay, I can let people off the hook, and by golly, I can let myself off the hook. And like Jen said, and then if you feel inspired to take a nap, that's the guidance. That's the guidance calling you and saying, here you go. You can now set this down. And then just watch as things flow forward for you guys, just how much easier life is. Our life is actually quite easy, and our life is to be of one of ease and joy.
Mhm.
But the key is you have to allow it. And you allow it by, being allowing of all the vibrations that are here in this beautiful physical experience, no matter what country or part of the world that you live in. And by doing that, you really allow yourself to just recognize the beautiful variety and the beautiful diversity that is this physical experience. And how delightful to see how delicious there's so much here for all of us.
Mhm.
And to really relish in the idea that, wait a minute, they can focus on their vibration and I can focus on my vibration, and they don't have to commingle. They can just be, and I can just allow that. And by doing that, I'll attract more that are people in that same vibrational harmony and frequency and resonance as myself. And as I continue to do that, I can feel even greater degrees of joy, and that by understanding that this is not a certificate of alignment, that this is a wonderful deliberate focus in any given moment, that even if things pop up and present themselves that aren't my preference, I can still just allow that, acknowledge that, and flow forward. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a powerful thing. And you'll feel, as you really flow in this way, this space of allowing
Yeah,
yourself to focus on what feels good to you, you'll
exactly.
feel things coming to you.
Yes.
You will be attracting into your life. You will be allowing in the things you've asked for. And you
Yes.
won't say or think, I'm going to go after that. I'm going to go after my dreams. I'm going to pursue it. I am going to, right? You won't feel that. You won't feel that pushing, striving. I better get on it. I better get to it. Better get to work kind of thing.
Chop chop.
You'll, you'll feel instead things coming to you. Now, you may, right, as you go up the scale more and things are coming to you, you will feel incredible momentum, right? So, this means you will feel exhilarated. You will
Yes.
feel fully alive. You will love every bit of what you're doing, but you won't be striving. You won't be stretching. You won't be reaching. You won't be going after. You
No.
will be letting that energy of who you truly are, which is the energy of source, which is the energy of everything you've asked for, flow to you and through you and to you and through you, like the beautiful flowing stream that it is. And you won't
Yeah,
be resisting it. And if you
exactly.
are, and if and when you do resist a bit, you'll know it.
Yeah,
And you'll plot yourself on the scale. And you'll be able to acknowledge it and gently come to that space of letting it go.
exactly, Jen. Yeah. And even in the quote it says, give yourself a break. I'll add this on top of it. Give yourself the benefit of the doubt. Give yourself the benefit. You're doing great. You're doing awesome. So I'm going to just read the whole quote in its entirety, Jen, before we wrap up, okay?
Beautiful. Yeah.
It says, your joy factor will remain constant as you are continually refining your ideas of what you want. And that's why it's so important for you to get everybody else out of the equation. They've got their own game going on. They don't understand your game. Give them a break. Stop asking them what they think. Start paying attention to how you feel. Joy will be yours immediately, and everything else that you have ever thought would make you happy will start flowing seemingly effortlessly into your experience.
Mm, doesn't it feel good? Feels so
Mhm.
good. Everybody has an inner being. Everybody is being called to their desires. Believe in them. Know that they're feeling and finding their own way. And you focus on yours, right? Focus on your own path. And you'll see how beautifully you will be assisting not only yourself fill your path, but as you gaze out and the others in your life experience, how you are being of benefit to them as well. And you
Yeah,
didn't even try.
yeah,
Just happened because you were feeling so good.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yep, you're just allowing it all to be. So, yeah, guys, enjoy this beautiful physical experience. It's it's all here for us, and delight in whatever you put your focus on. And if there's stuff that you're putting your focus on that doesn't feel good, you can always change that focus. Always, always, always.
Mhm. Beautiful. So awesome. Yeah. So thank you all for joining us, whether you're here live or you're watching the replay. I hope you found some benefit in this. If you have any questions, reach out or put it in the comments below, and you'll find this also posted on YouTube, or maybe you're viewing it on YouTube. So on Facebook and YouTube. So uh, love you all. Have a beautiful rest of your day.
Love you guys. Mwah. Bye,
Bye bye,
guys.
everyone.